Greetings for the day, students. In last lecture, we made a discussion about the linear model of innovation, and we were about to begin with the types of linear model. There are two types of linear model which are available that we need to study today. The first one is technology push model, and second one is market pull model. These two words and the terminology which are being used are more than enough and sufficient to understand how that works and what are the different implications for the same. Then also we need to see to it into the detail how these two different models are making a sense and how they are different than one another, how they are helping to understand the innovation which are being offered by the companies through their products and their service offerings. So the first one is technology push model. The technology push model is the first generation linear model. Under this model, technology is regarded as a key driver of innovation. That is what it is, the first phase, or we can say the first model which has been introduced to the public at large. And at the same time, it is understood that the individuals, or we can say the customer need, is not the matter. The matter is how the technology upgradations are happening, and whatsoever the upgradations are happening, that has to be offered to the customer without taking into the consideration that what they are actually expecting, what they are demanding, and whether the new product, the new offer, the new innovation which we are doing or we are making is adaptable by the customers or not. Whenever a new, or we can say the improved technology emerges, it leads to innovation of a new product, services, or a process. And technology push innovation involves series of sequential steps like fundamental research, application of research, designing, engineering, manufacturing, marketing, and sales. So through the steps you can understand that how this works in the laboratory, or we can say in the experiment home, or we can say experiment lab. The individual is making the experiments on the technology, upgradation of the technology. They are trying to find something new which can be offered to the market, and that's how the fundamental research, the basic science happens, basic science emerges. Then they made so many applications, so many combinations to be checked and analyzed, and after that they design the product, they design the innovation, they design the technology, they design the service offerings, and the engineering happens. That is what, how it can be commercialized, how it should be manufactured, and what are the different ways to make the product and make it commercialized. Then the application, that is what the manufacturing happens, manufacturing starts, and the marketing and sales plays a crucial role in creating product aware, or we can say adaptable to the market at large, public at large. So till now we have not consulted any of the customer what their expectation is, what product they are demanding, and how new product solutions has to be offered to them. So that is what a passive kind of activities without involving customer that has happened, and customer needs to adapt the change, or we can say adapt the product which is being offered by the companies. In this particular system, user, or we can say the consumer, is treated as a passive recipient of the output. That is, it is presumed that if a new or improved product or services based on the new technology is developed without getting feedback, consulting customer or user, and it is offered to customer or user, he will accept the new product or service. So what they are doing is they are making the innovation, they are finding the new technology, they are finding the new ways to produce the product in a better way with the new added features into it, but they are not asking the customers whether they required it or not, whether they are seeking for the same solutions, same offerings or not. And then also the companies are manufacturing the product, the companies are developing the output, the companies are developing the processes, and that's how whatever the new product has been offered to the market, that customer needs to adapt. This was the scenario which was adaptable when the less competitors are available in the market. There are no such more options which are available to the customer at large, and at the same time, whatsoever the newness which are brought on up by the companies, they are welcomed because customer don't have so much options and so much choices in the market. So this linear model was adaptable before the era of industrialization, that is, we can say before the 1950s and 1940s. But after that, what has happened? The industrialization revolution has happened. The globalization has emerged, and globalization has allowed us to understand and transform the technology from one place to the another place. And that's how world has become a global market. More competitors are coming in the market, more options are coming into the market, cutthroat competition has emerged into the market, and that's how we as a customer are unable to have more number of options into the less amount of prices. And that is why now the linear push model, the technology push model, is not adaptable, because the reason is you are not asking me what I'm supposed to have and what I'm expecting, and then you are selling the product to me, then definitely it won't be adaptable to me. So that is what the linear, or we can say the technology push model is. They are not asking us, and without asking the customer, without asking us, they are developing, they are creating a product for us. So the model is ignores the customer need and the market requirement. This is the second generation linear model, and that is what the biggest limitation comes. But the second generation linear model is something different, which is the market pull linear model. The process is entirely reverse. The customer is taking the crucial role and playing the crucial role. Customer is asked funds first what they require, and after that usually the marketer, the manufacturer, makes the necessary changes, makes the experiments, they develop the product, and they try to fulfill the need, they try to fulfill the demand of the market. So that is what the basic difference between the technology push model and the market pull linear model. Technology push is what they just try to force us to buy the product, adapt the product which they have developed. On the contradictory side, market pull linear model is what they ask the customer first what they require, what they expect, and then they give, and then they offer the product to the customer. So chances of adapting the product is highest in market pull linear model, because it includes and integrates the user needs in the innovation process. The consumer needs and the market requirement are regarded as the key driver of innovation process. So first of all, they identify what we actually require, what are the market requirements are, and there are the first initial step, or we can say the stage that should be considered as the development of a new product or a process. And that's how market pull innovation process involves the series of sequential steps, like first of all they assess the customer need, market requirements. At the same time, then their concept and the idea generation happens. Then they refine the idea to at least meet the customer need, designing of a product, engineering, manufacturing, and testing and marketing, sales. So what they actually does, they first of all ask us, demand us what you actually want. Then they try to sum up with the skills and the capabilities of them, whether we are capable enough to provide this same kind of a product and services which they are expecting or not. Then they refine it with the more suitable options and the more suitable available resources which are with them. And then after the refining the thing, they try to match up with the customer's expectation and the need. Then they design the offerings, engineering happens, that is what the setting of the resources, setting up the plant and machineries and equipments, giving the right kind of a training to the skilled employees of our, and then the manufacturing of the same happens, and then it goes to the market. And the chances of adoption of the products and services are highest, because whatsoever the product, whatsoever the services that we have manufactured, that we have cited, they are already suggested by customer from the first. So some examples are market pull innovation in phones, UPAs, in, inverters. So whatsoever the new suggestions we are giving to the companies, that the suggestions are like the problems that we are facing right now. Likewise, we all are facing the same problem of having the shortest battery backup in a mobile phone, right? So that is what the companies are looking forward. How we can have more wonderful kind of a battery backup in the mobile phone, and that has to be charged in a less amount of time. We are not the person, or we don't want it to be charged for the 2-3 hours, or we can say the 1.5 hour. So the charger has to be fastest. At the same time, the battery has to be run for the longer period of time. So we need to, the companies need to match with the both the expectations, and they need to create the product, they need to deliver the product. So that is how the market pull linear model works. These are the two different theories of linear model. And now the second part is flexible innovation process model. Initially, innovation was deemed to be linear, directed, and a planned activity. But the flexible innovation process model is what? The innovation can happen at any point of time. So they are not having any structure. They don't have any kind of steps to be followed. They don't have any kind of strategies that to be happened, or we can say without following the rituals of following the steps that should not be involved in the innovation, or we can say that when innovation takes place. So now innovation is regarded as a non-linear ideas or improvements that can emerge from any source at any stage of innovation process. This is the combination of linear and non-linearity approaches that have led to emergence of third generation model, which reflect the complexity of real innovation processes. This model includes, so I am not talking about the hierarchy, and these are the words which are not in a hierarchy, or they are not steps to be followed, but they are the inclusions which has to be there, which has to be included while considering and talking about the flexible innovation model. So thus the model includes technology push, that is what, how the technology is changing, how the technology is giving us the options, what are the new technology advancement that has happened into the market in terms of offering the product, in terms of the competitors product, in terms of manufacturing method, in terms of research and development. So whatsoever the technological push has happened into the market, that has to be inculcated by the manufacturer, that has to be included by the manufacturer. So we need to welcome, we need to adapt, we need to give the chance to technology to play its crucial role, and adoption of the new technology has to be happen. Plus at the same time, we need to have the market pull combination. I am not talking about the market push, I am talking about the market pull. So what is market pull? We need to ask to the customer whether they are requiring or whether they are facing any problem or not, whether they require the solutions for the same or not, whether they want to change the services and the product to be offered in current scenario or not. And if they require some change, if they are facing the trouble till now with the products and the offerings which are made to them, then the market pull combination helps us to understand how the new technology which has come up in the market will help us to solve the problems of our customer. After that, we need to make research and development on the new processes, new product, new technology with the help of new technology, and then the marketing of the same. That means the new product and the new offering will come into the existence. And cyclic model will help us how this product can be commercialized, how this product can be adopted, and how this product can be approached to the market. Particularly this model attempt to explain the radical innovation process in rapidly changing business environment. This business process is more suitable. This business process is more adaptable in the market where ever changing market processes are happening, cutthroat competition is happening, and the business environment is such a way it is meant that no one can have the sustainable, no one can have a long lasting production process. So whenever the new innovations are expected, the flexible innovation method is the most suitable one. In this model, phases are overlapped, that is, that cannot be synchronized, that are not in a way that has to be followed in a line. They are overlapped. Simultaneously, we can think of any of the stage, we can think of adoption of any of the stage, we can have more than 2-3 steps that are happening at the same time, same amount of with the same amount of energy and dedication. So we can say that these phases are continuous in nature, these phases are overlapped, and these phases are overgoing. No design is locked down earlier than the absolute necessary, so as not to miss a newly emerged technology or new opportunity. So we don't have any threat, we don't have any problem, we don't have any trouble to skip the any innovation process, or we cannot have any backlog like we have just skipped the technology which has emerged in the market, which has just offered to the market or just marketers. Any new technology, any old technology, the combination of new and the old technology that has been offered to the market, and we can utilize and we can use, and that's how our business processes, our innovation can happen into the market. So that is what the biggest advantage. We don't have any backlog, we don't have any new or old kind of a pattern, and then also the innovation, continuous innovation helps in a proper way, or we can say the right. This is what the entire we can say the diagram. So here we can see traditional model was we need to develop the concept first. So project starts from here, then the concept is frozen, that is what we have locked the entire basic or the base for the same. Then the implementation happens, the market introduction happens. So implementation is what? Your research and development, your engineering, your design, your manufacturing. But what happens in the flexible innovation? We need to start the project, the concept development, and overlap by the implementation. While developing the concept even itself, we can check and we can analyze, we can test the market whether the product will be adaptable or not, while checking the concept development even. So while we are developing the concept even, implementation can happen. So that's how it is. A kind of a acid test can be done in the concept development stage, and it helps us to identify even whether the concept development is going in a right way or not. So that is what the advantage of flexible innovation process model. So flexible innovation process model is nothing but without following the structure, without following rules and regulations and the steps, we can have the new innovations that to be offered to the market, and then also our product can be adapted.
So according to cycling model, innovation is cycle in the sense that it is driven by the product improvement cycle, and the cycle often begins with the customer needs, which keep on changing. Also, an enterprise may be working for the new product development simultaneously, and thus there are the cycles of innovation that happen. So flexible innovation model help us to understand that how the cycling model, or we can say how the innovations are ever changing and how to cope up with the change which are brought on by the competitors in the market, and how to deal with the competitive force so that we can have the undue advantage, or we can say the competitive gain. And that is what the new, or we can say the innovations are offered to the market. The process of technological innovation involves the complex relationship among the set of key variables like inventions, innovations, the diffusions path, and the investment activity. So whatsoever the newness which is coming to the market, whatsoever the new experiments which are happening into the development of a new product, likewise whatsoever the new product that are being offered, that are being experimented by the company Tesla, these are the inventions. So now inventions are there, inventions are brought up by the company, and few company will adopt the inventions, and those are considered as the innovations. Then the diffusion path and the investment activities will be considered in the innovation process, will be considered in the newness in the market to be offered, and that's how the complex relations between these variables from a non-linear system with its underlying ramifications which can lead to unexpected and possible chaotic results. So if the synchronization not happens within the newness or within this non-linear system, then definitely flexible innovation will bring some chaotic results, or flexible innovation system will give us a chaos, or we can say which won't result into the commercialized product which we can offer. Thus, the proper integration between the research and development, manufacturing, as well as the marketing and other corporate function has to happen, and which helps in proper management of innovation process. So definitely we need to see to that the flexible innovation process has to be happened with the careful integration, with the careful observation, and it has to be have the emphasis of knowledgeable individual. This is what the flexible innovation process is. Here we can see there are three different types of flexible innovation process has been carried out by three different companies. Likewise, if someone is having the strong creative chaos with the weak guiding structure, so that means they do have the creative individuals, but the guiding structure, that is what the ideology, or that is what the guidance which are given by the knowledgeable individual, which is not resulting into the innovation that has to be commercialized, that has to be offered to the market. At the same time, one with the weak creative chaos, that is what the creativity is there, but the guiding structure is more stronger, and the creativity is somewhat not helping them to have the commercialized kind of innovation, which will result into a slow rate of innovation. Innovation will happen, but that won't be rapid, that won't be that much adaptable, which can be commercialized and which will be more profitable into the period of time. So they need to have more amount of weight which comes into their path, and that's how the time will be the key for them to have more creativity, which can help into the guiding structure, or which can help by the strongest guiding structure. But the people who do have the continuous innovation, who do have the creative chaos with the flexible guiding structure. So flexibility gives you more room to have more innovation, more creativity, more chances of new occurrence, new product processes that will happen, that can enable to have more amount of innovative, or we can say the inventive product to the market. And that is how the advantage of flexible system are continuous interaction with the market, user needs orientation can be there. So that's how easy customer adoption can happen, and customer can easily identify what sort of solutions you are offering and what sort of solutions to be adopted by you. At the same time, more chances of acceptance of the product. So these are the advantage. So chances of accepting the product, user can be easily satisfied. That's how we can say they can have more desired product and the results into the market, and less risk of failure, because we have made the product after analyzing and understanding what actually customer are requiring. And we do have all sort of flexibilities. We do have all sort of a flexible kind of a structure, which allows the innovations to happen in between, middle of the way, which allows the customer to give the feedback and the suggestions. And we do have all chances to inculcate those suggestions into the reality and the practicality. And that's how we are having the biggest advantage. The disadvantage, the chaotic in nature, it is kind of a structure which cannot be easily understood by the individual, or we can say each and everyone. And at the same time, it will become directionless. So this is what the different methods of innovation. Today I'm concluding my session over here. In next session, we will continue with the new points and the new topics that we need to discuss in the startup and innovation management. Thank you all. Here I'm sharing 2 example videos with you. The first one is of what is open innovation.
Audio Jungle.
We are living at a time where innovation is a driving power in every industry. New ideas are crucial to the competitiveness of every business venture. And if today a company is not constantly innovating, then it is also getting constantly outdated. As a consequence, organizations cannot grow or win new opportunities. Here comes the need for innovation. There are two types of innovation: closed and open innovation. The traditional way to achieve innovation is within a company's own research and development department. We call it the closed innovation process. Closed innovation is based on the organization's complete control over the whole innovation process. However, this means that the organization is strictly keeping the developed IP out of external reach. But what are the shortcomings? Large investments for supplying the internal research and development departments, high levels of patent costs, slow innovation process, ideas down the drain, limited market share, larger risk for companies during their innovation process due to long-term planning of resource allocation. The new concept that opposes closed innovation is open innovation. Open innovation is based on permitting the free flow of organizations' internal knowledge and benefiting from external innovative solutions. But how would these models work, as sharing and gaining knowledge is always secured by IP rights? Today, misleading perceptions are that open innovation means actually open to everybody, or that open means for free, or even that open means IP-free zone. All of these are wrong. Open innovation is about exchanging knowledge and ideas between business partners, customers, universities, scientific actors, and public institutions. Legal instruments such as shared IP rights, allocation of rights through licensing agreements, or even joint ownership agreements are used. Licensing is an issue of strategic IPR management, which translates into trade of intellectual assets between different actors, patents, trademarks. There are different general models of open innovation: outside in, inside out, and coupled. Outside in, open innovation draws external knowledge provided by the business and science environment to improve organizations' own innovation performance. Inside out, open innovation looks for possibilities to share already available in-house knowledge with the external environment in a way which will add value to the organization. This includes not only out-licensing and transfers of rights, but also promoting spin-offs, turning to open source, etc. Coupled open innovation is a model that combines the first two. It is often narrowed down to joint development of new knowledge through collaborative partnerships, where partners share their existing intellectual property in order to create new joint ownership on intellectual assets. Coupled open innovation can take forms of joint research, consortiums, joint venture agreements, etc. These practices are part of what we call today the open innovation culture, which is also known as the cards on the table approach. In a more connected world, open innovation offers opportunities to reduce research costs, increase differentiation in the market, and create new revenue streams. It is the new way for achieving bigger and greater success for business, as well as social advancement. All these questions are focused.
And the second one is what is the cycle of innovation?
Innovation. What is it? How do you do it? Innovation is all about coming up with new ideas or improving old ones. We can think about innovation as a process to create these ideas and test them. From scientists to designers, artists to engineers, anyone can innovate to solve problems. This process starts off with a need or a challenge. What is a problem that you might like to solve? Have a think about all the different ways to solve this problem. What already exists? What materials can you use? Think about some inspiration from the world around you, or even ask some friends to help you come up with some ideas. Then make a prototype. A prototype is like a draft. It doesn't have to be perfect, or work properly, or even use the same materials as the final product. Often, you'll make lots and lots of prototypes before your final design. In order to figure out whether it does what you want it to do, you need to test it. This is often the part where you learn the most about your idea. Is your prototype doing what you want it to do? Can you improve it? What changes would you like to make? After testing your prototype, figure out what you want to change and refine it. Did it fail completely? Great! Use this failure as feedback to help improve it. You can change something big or small, or even go back to the drawing board and start from the beginning. Innovation is nothing new. Everyone has done it at some point in their lives, whether it's making a new invention, coming up with a new dance routine, or even writing a story. Have a look around you. Are there any problems or challenges that you'd like to solve? Next time you have a problem, have a go using this process. Have a go thinking, making, trying, and refining. You never know what you could come up with.
Thank you so much.